So let's talk about the process of the week, because these two processes I'm about to highlight for you really go with organization strategy. So if someone was to ask me, what are the three most important strategic tools of any business? Well, first I'm going to say TouchStone, obviously. But within that question, what are the top three strategic things any business could do? The top three strategic things, I guess that's the way to say it. Number one would be to have a strategic plan, have a vision, and have it written down. I'm sure most of you have this already, hopefully. Anybody who's anybody and knows about business will tell you you need it. Strategic plan. It doesn't have to be a big, long business plan that's convoluted and huge. Even a one-page document saying, this is what we're going to do this year. So strategic plan. Number two is an organization strategy, just like this inside of TouchStone. A picture of your company, the positions, the people, job descriptions, hopefully. So your vision, your strategic plan in a chart. That's what it is. And then the third is a budget, financial plan. So strategic plan, overall vision for your business, organization strategy, this org chart, and then a budget, a financial plan. Those three things. And again, they don't need to be big and complicated. You know, I worked for a consulting firm 15 years ago, and they used to have the most elaborate, complicated budgets. It's like each department would just throw out the numbers and be like, gee, I hope that's right. Because it was it was convoluted. It never turned out the way it was supposed to be. Everyone hated it. So the more complicated and difficult you make these things, the harder they are to implement. So I'm going to show you, we talked about organization strategy, which is this, and then I'm going to show you in the library some templates, a template for creating a strategic plan, and then a template for creating a budget. So firstly, here inside of guiding the business. So guiding the business, you can go add from Process Library, and you can pull down this process here called strategic planning. So add from the library, go down to the S section. This is going to be grayed out for me because I already have it in my account right here. This process gives you an explanation of how to create a basic strategic plan. So there's all these work plans here that you can go through. It's kind of like reading a book. You just kind of want to understand, and we break it apart and make it as simple as possible. But it starts with the first one called Meeting Rhythm, and it just talks about, you know, how to go through your strategic planning meetings, what to think about, how to create agendas. That's the second one for the meetings, how to track and adjust. And then there's this one on here, creating a vision or creating a strategic plan. There's also a video right here, which I think it's Michael Mills right here showing you these tools in the video and explaining how to use them. So if you're interested at all in this, you can watch this video and then go through each of these work plans here and kind of read the steps. The template for the strategic plan is right here. So I'm showing you this because I want you to see that it's simple. So this is the wrong date here. In fact, I'll change this. So you build this for your business, and you just make a list of your annual priorities. So what do you want to achieve in 2018? So this is what I mean by simple. What do you want to achieve? What are the goals that you have? You can say increase sales. You can say increase conversion rates. You can say build an operational training plan. Implement new product, whatever your priorities are. Then you simply take those annual priorities and you break them down into quarterly priorities. So that's all it is. Now you can read some of this and go to the questions and answer those if you want. You can think about vision and mission statements, which, you know, I'm not mocking that. I think it's a good thing, but this is very practical. This is like, what do you want to do this year? And then let's break it down into quarters and decide what are the activities, what are the things that we need to do in order to get to that goal. So if you have an annual priority of increasing your conversion rate to 80%, then maybe one of your quarterly goals is to analyze the sales process, build the sales process, innovate the sales process. Maybe another quarterly goal is to implement a CRM or better train employees on how to enter data into the CRM so that you're getting more accurate information. Build a follow-up process. So think about annual goals. These are your priorities, and then break them down into quarterly, and then you have quarterly meetings, and you can even break them into weekly if you want. You can put all this information directly into TouchStone. I'm going to show you how to do that in the on the dashboard before we end. But this simple form can be all you need to come up with what is your vision, what are your priorities for the year. If you're in a larger company and you've got department heads, you can even give this form to them and say, what are your annual priorities for the year? Marketing manager, operations manager. Have them list them out for you. This is teaching your employees how to be strategic. And then have them break them into quarterly priorities and then track those activities, track those priorities. Simple exercises like this can help get you focused on how to proactively guide things. It's not always going to work out, but rather than running around doing it like a chicken with your head cut off, just trying to answer the phone as fast as you can, this at least sets you down for a minute and says, what are we going to try to accomplish rather than just being guided by what is. So strategic planning right here. There's a lot in this that you can do it in a more elaborate way if you want. But if you're a simple person and you want to go straight forward into what's important, go right to this annual priorities worksheet and start filling it out. Then the second thing is a budget. When I say the word budget, people are cringing. Don't cringe. Think of it as a financial plan. So budget creation, that's the process. That was probably too fast, so I'm going to go back. I'm in running the business right here. So the green box. And if you go add from process library, general processes, you'll find the budget creation process. So it's right here. Inside of the budget creation process, we have a work plan on creating a budget. So it talks about the elements of a budget: sales, costs, profits. These are the three most important things. If budgeting has eluded you and you just haven't really attempted it yet, think sales, cost, profits. That's it. For any business, those are the three key things. What sales came in, what were the total costs, and what is the net profit? Remember the board of directors, the entrepreneur on the org chart? That's what this person cares about, the profits. Are you making money? What was your net profit? Every business needs to earn a net profit. Otherwise, this is going to sound harsh, but it's not worth having, right? It's just a job. So focus on making a profit, a net profit, not a gross profit, not an operational profit, a net profit, which means after everything is said and done, there's a certain percentage of money left over. And you can take that money and reinvest it back in the business, or you can take that money as a dividend. But either way, there's money left over. Every business should strive to have at least a 5% net profit. I don't know what you can put your money in the bank for anymore and what interest rate people get normally with just basic savings accounts. It's probably not 5%. In fact, I know it's not. So anything above that is useful to have, but anything below what you could get just by putting your money into a savings account, it's like, why deal with having such a difficult thing as a business if you're not making at least that? So I know there's lots of different variations to this, but it's something to think about. What is a good net profit for your business? What should you be achieving? So sales, cost, profit. So this goes through a step-by-step on how to create the budget, decide what your profit margin is. We've got like a whole little analysis for that you can do, assuming a 10% net profit, which is fabulous. I mean, 10% is great. If you can consistently earn a 10% net profit, I'd say you're doing pretty well. Some service businesses get way more than that. I've seen situations where service businesses have gotten as high as 25%, which is fantastic. And this means after everybody's paid, including the president, all the managers, bonuses, 10% net profit after that. So this is tally income, expenses, so it goes through the step-by-step. There's even like a little work plan here on how to export data from QuickBooks if you have QuickBooks. Because really the data for your budget should come from your profit and loss statement. So you can export that and kind of use that as your budget template. We have a couple other like strategic tools here, like ratio analysis and break-even analysis. So these are uploaded files that you can look at. If you're into analysis a little bit more, understanding ratio analysis, it's not that complicated if you just think of the basic ratios. This is the budget template. There's two versions of it. This is the one I like the best. I'm just going to hit view file so you can see it. It's very straightforward. It's just going to have an area where you put in your income, and then you put in your expenses. So this is what it looks like. So here is revenue or income, variable cost. So income minus variable cost gives you your gross profit, which is an important number to know. And then fixed costs all the way down to your net profit. So on this spreadsheet, you just lump in the numbers here, and it even runs the percentages for you. These budget spreadsheets are a dime a dozen on the internet. So if you find something else that you like that's better, that's totally fine. So before we end, I'm just going to show you how you can use those two tools inside of the dashboard. So right here, I've got control panels set up for these two positions. And remember, if you build this future organization chart, and then you fill multiple boxes on the chart, or you have people who fill multiple boxes on the chart, they can have control panels for those boxes. So just so you know what I'm talking about, this is the org chart, and I'm the president, and I'm the manager of marketing and sales. So I would be assigned to these two positions in my dashboard. So if I go over here, this helps me if I have multiple roles, because I can see the work I need to do as the president, and I can see the work I need to do as the manager of marketing and sales. So if I click on president here, I see all the processes that are on my job description. So here on the org chart, when you create the job descriptions, you'll then link the processes to them, and then they appear here on the control panel. So here I can click on strategic planning. You can always hit this little collapse button, which makes it kind of easier to see things. And I can go right to the uploaded files, or I can go right to the documents. Here's that strategic plan. So this is the template actually filled out. This is just an example. So annual priorities, customer service, 20% increase in sales, leads, quality control, better retention. Those are all the annual priorities. And then they're broken down into quarterly priorities. Right here in the control panel, if I wanted to change this, I can add information right to it and save it. So the idea here in the control panel is that I access the strategic plan, I start to fill it out. So if we go back here, this is the strategic plan template. So this is what it looks like when it's blank. So here I can go and like put in, what the year is, and then I can put in the annual priorities. So I'm filling this out, and then I save it. So this is now saved back to TouchStone. So for those of you who want to do this with your managers, you just attach the strategic planning process to their job descriptions. They go to it individually. They call this the marketing goals for 2008. They list it all out, save it back to TouchStone. It's all inside of TouchStone. And then I, as the president, if I want to see all the strategic planning work that my employees are supposed to be doing, I can go here and run a report and see it right inside of TouchStone. So that'd be one of the reasons to do this inside of TouchStone. The budgeting process. So I click this. I can collapse this, and I can go right down to the template. This is the 2008 budget. If I hit view file, because this is an uploaded file, it's going to show me this uploaded file with the budget in it. So I can work on this. I can do a variance report. when I add things to this, since this is an uploaded file, I'm going to want to do a file save as, save it back to my computer, and then I go back to the control panel and I re-upload that file. Open and save. So with uploaded files, if you can view them all day long in the control panel, it doesn't matter, but if you add data to them, you input information to them, then you want to save them back to TouchStone. Now when I go to this budget template to work on it again, I just click it right here. All I did is went to the completed folder. I can access it and view it again and work on it. So this is a way to use these tools inside of TouchStone, which makes it, easy for managers to know what's going on, but it also makes it easy for you to get zeroed in on what your priorities are and to look at them, look at the list of processes you're doing, and actually use them in TouchStone. Someone's asking, are the tools and templates for strategic planning new, or have they been in the library for a while? The strategic planning process, I think, is about a year old. So if you've had TouchStone a long time and you haven't accessed that tool, when the strategic, let me put it this way, when the strategic planning process inside the library was put in there, it was new. So if you go to the General Process Library and you scroll down to the S section in strategic planning, if it's illuminated like this one is, then you don't have it. But no, we haven't gone in and made edits to the original strategic planning process. Just another, because someone's asking about downloading processes from the library. I know I'm a little over, but I'm going to stay on a few more minutes. If you have the strategic planning process, like this one is in your account, and you're not sure when you downloaded it, or you just want to make sure you're not missing anything, you can click on it and go to the title and put like a 1 in or something. Or you can put old if you want and hit save. So now, if you go back to the library, and I've got this process in twice, so I'm just going to delete that one. Now I've edited the title, so the library doesn't know that I already have this because I've changed the title. So now if I go to the library and I scroll down to the S's in strategic planning, you see how it's illuminated again? So that's just a trick if you want to check out a library process to see if there's anything new or more in it. Just edit the title of your original one, and you can go and then add it again. Then you can take those two processes and you can compare them. So if we look at this strategic planning process, look, it's got a custom form in it, so there is something new in it. So this is like an example of a custom form that could be used. If you see something new in it and you like this, like you want this custom form, you can always go here and move this form out of this one into yours. So we'll go over more of this when we talk about the process tools, but you can take things out of this process and move them into your other process and then just delete the rest of it. So that's a way to trick the library, just to see if you want to just compare what you have with what's already in there, if anything.